You won't get clarity on day one. You have to first start publishing and then you start getting clarity. When you start publishing for the first time, publishing for the next time becomes much more easier. And that is what I mean by momentum creates momentum. In fact, this video is me following my own advice. Welcome to Permissionless Creators. Today we are going to talk about the habit of publishing and what stops us from publishing and how can we get into the habit of publishing. If you have just started out creating content, your goal is not to build an audience, to find your niche, to go viral, to build a brand, build a personal brand, none of that. Your goal should be to get into the habit of publishing, build the muscle of publishing. That is the main goal that you have. Every time you decide to start creating content, you get into this over analysis mode for questions like who is my audience, what should I build, what topic should I talk about, why would people listen to me, why should they care, why should I preach, do I have good ideas, and like a million other questions, right? But the truth is, none of those questions matter if you don't publish, because it's the act of publishing that gets you to start developing the skills required to make good content. But unfortunately, I know a lot of people who have a lot of stuff written in their notes, but none of that is published, and that's a big problem. So let's get to the point. If you were to decide to start publishing, where do you start? There are questions like, should I make video or should I start writing? What is easy for you? If you can talk, just turn on the selfie camera, start recording and publish it. If it is easier for you to write than to talk, then start writing and publish it. If it is easier for you to write long form, then write blogs. If it is easier for you to write short form, write tweets. But the whole point is, you need to find your path of least resistance. How can you create content with the least amount of time and energy? That is the most important point. I have been writing content for almost last 10 years, and it is just in this 1 year that making content on video has become much easier for me. If you have just started out, it doesn't even matter if your audience likes your content or not. What matters is, do you know what is the best process for you? Have you found out your path of least resistance? And if you have not, then that's your goal. And at this point, people are not even going to engage with your content. And that's a good thing, because you don't want people to engage with it when you have not even figured out what your message is. But here's the beauty of publishing. Once you start publishing, you start building momentum in different areas, right? Like, you start noticing problems that people have, and then you have solutions for it, and then you figure out, how can I make a video or a blog or a post that solves this problem, right? That's how you start learning how to resonate with your audience. That is when you finally start figuring out, oh, this is what people are looking for and this is what I should be talking about. But that won't happen. I mean, you don't get into that mode of thinking if you don't have the habit of publishing, because your mind has no reason to come up with ideas, because there is no outlet for those ideas. So why should it come up with more ideas? So it's just like you release the choke up that you have by starting to publish, and then the clarity will come later. The clarity does not, you can't start with clarity. You have to start with publishing and the clarity follows. And this video is the example of that process, where I started publishing randomly. If you look at some of my past videos, I think some of them are just my thoughts and not really focused. But as I started making video, I started meeting new people. I talked with them. I found the problems that they have, like this one, which is, dude, I don't know, like, I'm not really consistent with publishing. That was the first problem. And like, I thought I'll be able to help people with creating content, but I realized that's not even the start. Like, the start is, people are not even publishing. So why not talk about that? And this video was a result of that process. And when you start following this process, you start learning how to find your message that resonates with your audience. And finding a message that resonates with your audience starts with finding a message that resonates with you. And you can only find that message when you express it and you publish it. And the most important part is, you can't figure it out in your head, because if you just keep it in your head, you will end up in analysis paralysis, and that is bad. And you won't be able to make any progress. Whenever I have a lot of confusion and I'm not sure what exactly is the direction I want to take, I just write about it. I create content out of it and I publish it, and that gives me a lot of clarity. And it also gives a lot of feedback from the audience on what the audience thinks about it. And why is that important is because I'm not creating anything in isolation. I'm creating it with my audience, and I find something that people want, and it's much easier to go closer to something that I can sell over time. And that is the reason publishing is the most important part of creating. And you can't just create in your notes and just keep it there. That does not work, and that does not help you, and that does not create any value for you personally as a creator, or as anybody, as a founder, entrepreneur, or anybody. And the good thing is, when you publish, you're already 10 steps ahead of the person who has just written stuff in their notes and not published it. So the only message I have for you in this video is start publishing. Whatever you have in your mind, just write a single line about it and publish. If you want, you can write in the comments about what is stopping you from publishing, and that could be the beginning of expressing yourself in words, and eventually you will be able to start publishing on your own social platforms. If you have any problems or obstacles that is stopping you from publishing, tell me in the comments and I'll be happy to share with you whatever I know. Also, before going away, I'm creating a lot of content on this channel about how to create content that attracts a tribe. And if you want to overcome these problems that stop you from hitting the publish icon, click the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, and see you in the next video. Thank you.